morning. How are you?
Honestly, I'm not jet lagged. I think I've got it down to a science. It just
Okay.
depends on the sleep factors. Like I was able to keep myself up the whole way home.
Oh, okay.
Took some let me sleep and got, probably about 7 hours of sleep in Toronto Monday night.
Okay.
And then yesterday I did keep myself awake, still coached kiddos in the evening. It was a little crazy.
Okay.
But I got home, I meal prepped so I wouldn't have to think the rest of the week. Took my Lemmy sleeps and I slept about 8 hours. And I just, I took my time. I got up, like, took a shower, did a hair mask, made my breakfast. So I think I think we're good.
I love it. I love it. Well, guys, thank you for joining me for today in travel. We are coming to you a day later. We're not changing the schedule permanently. This is just a one time to accommodate for Haley arriving
The
back from
border was
Europe.
awful yesterday, like
Yeah. So yes. So,
awful.
so thank you for indulging us, letting us come in a day later, guys. I'm Jason Poole. I'm a travel advisor with Cruise Planners. We're going to talk about all things cruise, and we have some pretty exciting things to talk about. And if you don't know, our esteemed co-host Miss Haley just got back from her cruise. So introduce yourself. Tell people what you just did, the ship, the itinerary, and then we're going to kind of dig into it.
Hello, everybody. My name is Healy. I am the owner of Hospitality with a Flair, which is a hotel sales support company, and I write a travel blog, HealyWithAFlair.com, because I hate having free time and I love to travel. I just got off of a cruise in Europe. I went and spent a day and a half in Barcelona, hopped on the MSC World Europa, stopped in Marseille, Genoa, Rome, Palermo, Malta, and one sea day. And then, because I was already over there, why not go to Paris for three
I know.
nights?
I
Went
know.
to Paris and flew back home, got in late Monday night, and here I am.
Right. So that this is a fairly new ship for MSC.
Yeah.
Um, People have said it's their Oasis class, right? It's kind of
Oh, 100%.
an open plan, right? So I mean, did it feel like an Oasis class ship, like with the size, the grandeur, the openness?
It definitely did. It definitely, I would say that it's a more sleek and chic version.
Okay.
Royal Caribbean's very like, bright colors, like it's a very a la family Caribbean kind of vibe. This was more sleek and elegant. And as much as I love like, certain things on Royal and whatnot, I have to say I think actually on the whole, if we're talking just like hardware to hardware, preferred the Europa in all
Okay.
actuality compared to I haven't been on Icon and I know that that's a whole different vibe too, but from kind of regular Oasis class ships to this, I really really enjoyed this ship a lot more than I thought I was going to.
Okay. Okay. Now, it was a pretty port intensive itinerary,
Yes.
and you had not been to some of these places, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
So mostly new ports for me, obviously aside from Rome, and I've been to Barcelona. Um, Marseille was nice. We just kind of took it easy, not a whole lot that we were looking to do, and the weather was a little rainy in the morning. So we're like, you know what? Let's just wait, get off the ship. We walked around, um, went inside, some of the churches, went up to Panier, got some great sandwiches. Of course, bought soap because that's a big to do. Um, it was just, it was a nice little day. We did not get off in Geneva because it was pouring all day and it was Easter and there wasn't a whole lot open.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
So it was just kind of like it's rainy. I don't feel like getting off on because it did. It rained all day in Geneva, so we just
Okay.
stayed on and kind of enjoyed the ship. And I'll get into
Nice.
more reasons why I enjoyed it. Rome, of course, went into Rome. Civitavecchia, as you know, is an hour and 15 minutes. So we tried doing the train this time. That is a whole fiasco. I will not bore you guys with.
Yeah, it's a long story. We don't have time for
It's a
that.
long story. It'll be on YouTube. But still got to Rome. Got to see some awesome things. The people that were traveling with us, it was their first time. So we did the hop on, hop off bus. We stopped at one of my favorite places, got some carbonara, gelato, and I headed back to the port. So that was a great day. Then we went to Palermo, which I loved.
I've not been there.
I
I've
really
not.
loved it. It's like a overall, I said it kind of felt like a cleaner Naples.
Okay.
Really great, like walk around street food vendor kind of scene. Amazing cannolis. I probably had my best cappuccino of my life.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
there, we all really really loved Palermo, and then stopped in Malta, which was gorgeous. It was so much more than I was expecting it to be, and it was a beautiful day. Got to see the cannon shoot off at noon. Again, going to be lots of YouTube videos on this, and then we had our sea day. I think the sad thing out of the whole itinerary is I wish I had even more time to explore the ship more, because there are parts of that ship kind of, we've talked about on Oasis I didn't even get to.
Right.
Like
Big ship.
when you're so port intensive, but um, kind of leading in, like I said earlier, I was a little hesitant. I'm not gonna lie. I did MSc a couple years ago in the Caribbean, Bahamas, technically, and did not have the greatest experience. Now, I still had a good vacation,
Sure.
but it was definitely in the neighborhood of mediocre, from service to food minus the pizza, because we all know the pizza slays
Fantastic.
the
Yep.
slays the
Yep.
house down
Yep.
here. Um, which was sad because the ship was so beautiful, but it's just, for me, I was like, I don't think I'm ever going to really do this again.
Okay.
Um, and I was kind of at that point, and then lo and behold, a year ago, like, oh, what are we going to do for spring break next year? And Florida cruises are always just so expensive.
Yes.
Not to mention the airfare from up here. I mean, you're talking to fly from, upstate New York down to Florida, it's $1,000 a ticket.
Yep.
Plus the cruises being where they are. And we ended up booking an Aria suite for ourselves.
Yep.
The family you're traveling with booked an Aria suite, and then we booked an interior room for the girls.
Right.
There's
The math worked out a little cheaper that way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it worked out cheaper than having the girls in our Aria suites that had like the bunk beds and stuff.
Yep.
It was crazy. So we ended up doing that, and about per family, it was in that 3,400 range for a week.
Okay.
That was Wi-Fi and drink packages
That's
included.
a
I
good
was
deal.
like,
That's a good
had
deal.
a great deal on Air France, and I was like, do you know what? I haven't been to some of these ports. I'm going to shut up and I'm going to try it again.
Okay.
Because I really hate to one and done things, but here we are. I will tell you, the room was fantastic. Like our
I enjoyed
sleep.
the FaceTime you showed me in the room. It was a big room.
This was a huge room, and plus, of course, you get access to the thermal spa, which we all know if you followed me for a while. That is my oasis, my life. My one
And guys,
little
if you don't know, I'm gonna interrupt you briefly. So, with MSC, their suite program is Yacht Club. They have non-Yacht Club suites, which are just a larger room, like what you were in, like the Aria suite.
hmm
Yep.
And it comes with the perks like getting into the thermal
Yep.
spa. You get a discount, I believe, on massages too. I think it's like 10% off on
It
massages or
reminds me of
facials.
it reminds me of like celebrities aqua class in a way. Like
Yeah,
some
one
spa
one
benefit.
hundred percent. It
Yep.
did. It had its own dining room. That side note, we did not ever go to, because with it being so port intensive, I just didn't want to sit down for a long dinner. We usually went to like the buffet or something,
Yep.
or got pizza. Um, so the rooms were incredible, super spacious, so much storage. Like we didn't even end up using all the storage
Wow. Okay.
that was in these rooms. You could connect the balconies, which was great. Room was incredible. Like that was really a big thing. I will say, I think the other thing that I truly loved, this ship was so great with their venues. I know I've been on other like royal and celebrity ships where, they have the different bars that'll have like a couple signature cocktails, but overall you can get your Collins and whatnot, all of them. They all end up being like this. There were so many specifically and intentionally themed spaces
I mean,
on this
you have a champagne bar and a separate gin bar. I mean, it's like
champagne bar, a gin
speaking my
bar,
language.
a pub. Like they have a brewery on board. Like they brew like three different beers themselves on board.
Something tells me your husband frequented that venue.
and right above it was the gym bar. So that's just where he
That worked
spent
out
his time.
perfectly.
I didn't even have to know where he was. The other thing I think that they really exceeded at compared to every other cruise line on top of
Okay.
that I've been on, this includes Princess, whatever. They have a venue on their main, I keep calling it Promenade Habits, but it's called Pizza Burger. And that is for that late night, if you're going to Sorrento's, but it was so much more than that. Most ships either have like a Sorrento's or like a little like deli case with like deli sandwiches and stuff that late. This was pizza, burgers, mac and cheese, like until 2 a.m.
Wow.
Like, and the food in there was like, we ended up like the girls ate so much in there, and it wasn't just like a basic burger. Like you could get either like a basic burger they had coming down the chute, kind of like fast food style, or you could get like a dressed up one that had like special aiolis and stuff on it. They had chicken wings at this. Like that was a really well done, casual, free food included venue.
Okay.
Super impressed. And then on top of those other, bars and stuff we were talking about, they had a tea room. I spent a lot of time in this tea room. At night they had somebody playing piano in there. There's also an outdoor terrace on it, so you could have tea on the terrace, quote unquote. Um, Even if you came in not during afternoon tea time, they'd come over and bring like these specific tea cookies over, which were really great. They had, I believe, over 27 different types of tea.
Wow.
On the sea day, we did afternoon tea. Now, Princess has this for free, but it's very much very casual afternoon tea. They just kind of bring things around. This is like the three tier, the sandwiches, the scones, and the scones were
Wow.
incredible. The pastries, and that was like 10 euros per person
Wow. That's not bad.
for afternoon tea. And there were options where you could do like VU or, like different champagnes. And that was like maybe 30 to $50. Like I was really impressed with that. They also had this coffee shop on the back, I call it the boardwalk, terrible bad habits. The Galleria back there where they had these different signature coffees. They have different areas where you can smell the different beans. Like, and that place was incredible. Like even in these venues where there were little upcharges for certain things, you almost didn't mind paying for some of those because what you got was so good. I mean, a lot of those coffees were included in my drink package. Like honestly, I was very impressed. And one of the big differences too, I'll notice is definitely there was a big like clientele difference. Um,
I mean, a lot more Europeans, right? I would
a lot
assume.
more Europeans,
Yeah.
and I didn't really, and I don't want to coin it this out of Florida, but we're gonna call it spade a spade. Like there wasn't a lot of like raunchy, trashy behavior
Sure.
on board. And what was really neat is how they, and I didn't see this on my Florida sailing way back when, but they had so many different little pods of entertainment throughout the ship. So in that main area of the ship, there's 3 floors, like the tea room, the gym bar, then there's the pub, there's shops down on the bottom. There would be one group doing a like circus style performance in the middle of it. But
Okay.
then on the other end, there was like a 3 piece string quartet playing music, but it didn't clash with that. It was really really interesting. We did get to try a specialty. The steakhouse was really, really good. I would probably venture to say it was a number two. For me, it would go Princess, MSC, Celebrity, Royal in
Okay.
that realm. Um, I like. I guess the big piece is I was really, really impressed, and I'm very excited for people to try Europa when it comes over to the Caribbean. If you can't do Europe, because I ate my words on a lot
Good.
of things.
Yeah,
So
and breaking news today, they named their third ship, the World Asia, was named,
I
they
wonder
announced
where it's
it today.
going.
I just saw the headline. I mean, literally, I saw it as we were starting the show. So,
But no, I was very, very impressed with what I saw. Like I have some videos coming out and like the things that I thought that could be better, the things that
sure.
I thought were great. But overall, it's an experience that I would do again.
Awesome. Well, guys, make sure to follow her YouTube page. She's going to be posting lots of videos. So, thank you so much for your brief summary. Let's get into the news. So, something happened. We're gonna go that one first. Okay.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine, guys. So this was actually pretty exciting. So if you know, in Florida, they have installed a pretty popular rail system in Florida that connects lots of the state, and people are using it for cruising. You know, if you live in Central Florida, you want to cruise out of South Florida, you can use the rail. Princess debuted a package where for complimentary rail service to the port, and you can pay a small fee of $35 per bag. You give it to them at the train station, and you will not see it again until it arrives in your cabin. $35 a bag. I think that is well worth it. That's amazing. Amazing.
I'd be
So,
like, take it all. Here's my purse. Here's
right, right. So the actual train is going to be complimentary. So, I mean, of course, this won't really help those who are from out of state unless all of a sudden doing like a couple days at Disney and then sailing out of South Florida becomes a lot easier with this rail service.
100%. I think it's great.
I think that is, I mean, kudos to Princess. I thought that was very, very cool. And I mean, look, Princess is making a lot of changes. They're trying to become a little more modernized. I mean, you've done it, the medallion service, the
That,
rail,
that was like one of the main things I missed.
the medallion. Yeah, yeah,
That medallion service, I didn't even realize how much I used it.
right.
Recent.
Right. Well, I'll be sailing Princess this fall with Convention, so I'm excited to see that. So that is great news for them. Moving on. So normally cruise lines don't announce 8 new ships. So the Norwegian Cruise Line, the holding company, so the parent company over all 3 brands, which are Norwegian, Oceania, and Regent, they announced 8 new ships. It's gonna be delivered over a 10-year period. They're gonna be adding to all 3 brands. This is an ambitious move. I applaud them. They realize the travel industry, the cruise industry only represents low single digit percentage of the entire travel industry. It's like 2%. So there is
Wow.
massive room for growth in in the travel industry as a whole, and all the lines are really going after new to cruise. They don't necessarily, yes, of course they'll take someone who wants to jump brands. Of course they'll take them. But the real focus in the industry is people trying cruising for the first time. And Norwegian parent company doubling down 8 new ships across all 3 brands. So that's exciting.
I'm very anxious to see how much they give to each brand.
Oh,
Because
so,
I
I can tell you, Regent's getting 2 more of its Explorer class ship. Oceania is going to take 2 of its Allura class
that's
ships.
what I figured. I'm like, I would figure that NCL would get the bulk because
Yep,
it's mass
yep.
market.
So 4 for Norwegian, 2 for Oceania, 2 for Regent.
Perfect. Well, that's so
Awesome.
exciting.
All right. Now, so if you guys know, Sandals is one of the biggest names in the all-inclusive industry. They kind of have a unique place in the market where it's for couples. Of course, friends could go. Haley, you and I could book a room together, but it's really for couples. There's no twin size beds. All the restaurant tables are pretty much all for 2. It really is for couples. And they just opened a new resort. It's their 18th all inclusive resort in St. Vincent. And it looks fantastic. Has 300 guest rooms. They have 2-story villas that are over the water. They're just really expanding their portfolio, and they realize their Butler level, which is their yacht club, their retreat. It's called the Butler level. It's their top tier. Those rooms sell out. So these 2-story villas over the water look fantastic. So if you're an all-inclusive fan, this new property looks top notch.
Well, I mean, sandals is just like whenever I think all inclusive, I think of sandals
Yes.
first.
Yeah.
And it's just synonymous with it. And I know the friends that have done it for their honeymoon, had the butler service, loved it. So I can only imagine.
I know. I know. It looks fantastic.
Wee wee.
So you were just there. I saw this late last year. I did the river cruise at night, and I saw Notre Dame, and it was very much under construction when I was there. Did you see it when you were just there?
I did. And I can tell that you watch a lot of football.
Oh, Notre Dame. I'm sorry. I knew that's what you were saying, Notre Dame. Yeah. So you saw
Yes.
it.
So I saw it. I saw a lot more of it than I've
Yes.
seen in the past because this is my fourth time to Paris. Well, it's been under construction. And she does. She looks very close. She looks a lot more ready than other parts of Paris for the Olympics.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
funny.
much
I remember
restriction.
winning the lottery for the Olympic tickets, and I was so excited, and I couldn't decide what I wanted to do. And after going to Paris in the fall last year during the slow season, I guess I'd call it shoulder season, the beginning of the slow
Yeah.
season, and it was insane. I was like, there is no way I'm flying here in the summer to deal with the. I will enjoy it at home, and they say
And
I've
air
been there.
conditioning.
And air conditioning, absolutely. Well, the last one is kind of exciting. SAS. It's a Scandinavian Airlines, which a lot of people say their business class service is one of the best in the industry. They are
I've heard that
leaving.
as well.
Yep, they are leaving Star Alliance and they're joining Sky Team. So Haley and I, being Sky Team fans, this is great news. So we'll have some more routes, for the Scandinavian countries. Still wish we had something in Italy better, but we'll take
Uh,
the we'll,
we've
we'll
got
we'll take the
Northern Europe
win where we
covered.
can.
But let's go to our tip of the day. So you and I were talking about this very heavily while I was
Yes.
um, in Europe, and I realized that I'm also a special case when it comes to hotels. A, just knowing how they work, but B, like I get access to rates that other people
But yeah, right, right.
don't.
So
Um,
let's break down this discussion from almost like three tiers. Um, Budget, need something for the night, fairly cheap. Mid tier, and luxury properties. So you're the hotel expert. Start at the bottom. Budget.
so
Do
I think there's even a deeper way
Okay,
to.
you're the hotel expert. Go.
So a lot of people always assume because of marketing that they are getting better deals on Expedia,
Yep.
hotels.com, which, hats off to the marketing
Yep.
of that. And it goes back to my other catchphrase is if you want to save money, you're going to put in time. It's
Yep.
either time or money. Like you pick one. Very rarely do you get both. The
Well,
way
and
that
like
hotel,
tangent, like tangent. People will just text me. Can you check and see if my seven cruises have gone down in price? It's like I can't. Like I get dozens of those a time. Like I don't have time to do the just needle in a haystack. Now, if someone finds a lower price, I will quickly take care of it. But
yeah.
to your point, if you
Well,
want
I
to
mean,
say,
to get those kind of texts, stuff like that, and I mean, rates are always changing because most hotels run on a system like Hilton's is called Grow. It's a system and an algorithm that if it notices that March 1st of 2024, this hotel has picked up 10 rooms, it's automatically going to bump the rate.
yeah, okay,
Um, so it's always changing. And just like if you were to have an investment portfolio, stock market, whatnot, you diversify your portfolio.
yep,
So in
yep.
hotels, they diversify the ways that they are marketing to get rooms.
Cruise lines do
Um,
the same thing. Cruise lines do the same thing.
Same thing. Like there's so many different buckets, we're gonna call them buckets here, that hotels use. Like, they'll put 10 rooms a day in a bucket for Expedia Hotels.com, that generic rate.
Sure.
They'll put 5 rooms a day in a bucket for opaques. Now, opaques are those behind the scenes rates. So, like, I know Priceline has that name your own price tool where you don't get to see the hotel till after. And also, travel agents will
Right.
get access to these opaque rates. They're very heavily discounted. Um, but there's a little bit of risk depending which way that you book it. That comes with it. Then there's other buckets for like American Express travel where they include extra things. So there's all these different buckets that are available at different points in time. If it's high demand, hotels can close out buckets for OTAs and opaques.
Yep.
Um, and that's just the way that it works. So, for example, on this trip, I booked 3 rooms in Barcelona, 2 at my employee rate at the Edition. And their third room, now Amex Travel was the same price as Marriott.com. But on Amex Travel, it's a fine hotel and resort. So I got my $200 credit. That's going to come back to my statement. I got noon check-in if it was available, which was great because my flight literally got in at 11:30 in the morning.
Right.
Guaranteed 4 p.m. checkout.
Yep.
$100 food and beverage credit that I ended up using for breakfast. We were able to feed 7 people for like $38.
Yep.
And it was hot breakfast, like all those things. Of course, I got my 5 times points. I still have to check to see if I got the Marriott points for that. I have to give it like a little bit of time for it to check. But for me, the benefit outweighed booking directly.
Yep.
So you and I were talking because you have some new hotel tools.
Right. So I can access the Fine Hotel and Resorts. If anybody sees that, is if you have an agent that can access the Amex perks, I can. So I do that. We also Cruise Planners also was part of a larger consortium that it's inside baseball. We won't go into it, but it gives us perks and prices that I think usually beat Amex Fine Hotel and Resorts.
It's
And what's
probably a
nice about
different
that is you don't have to have a certain
bucket. Yeah,
right, you don't have to have a certain credit card to access it. You know what I mean? Like anybody can get access to that.
which is huge because not
Which you,
everybody wants to. Not everybody can substantiate that $600 annual fee because they go on vacation once a year. Doesn't make
right,
sense.
right. So
But
what's the answer to the question?
so for me, I don't think it hurts to ask.
Yep.
Generally speaking, for your economy-ish level, you're probably not going to find a whole lot of that.
I
You
agree.
tend to find more of the savings on that upper mid premium level.
I mean, case in point, someone messaged me about a hotel in Seattle before an Alaskan cruise. I looked it up and I said, booking it directly with Hyatt, which I could do. It's this price, and you'll get your Hyatt nights and your points. I can book it through Delta Vacations because this person's a Delta fan, and you will get your Delta. You'll get Sky Miles for this. You won't get Hyatt points, but you'll get Sky Miles and MQDs. Or I can book it through my cruise planner special, blah, 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 and you'll get access to free breakfast, the resort credit, the free upgrade, blah, 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 blah. So I just kind of provided them basically 3 options of how would you like me to book this. So it is a little misunderstanding. People are like, should I use a travel agent? Well, I want to get my points. You can still get them. It's just sometimes the travel agents might have more tools in our toolbox to
Yeah,
say,
and that's what you need to do is you need to assess all of that. Like even if I don't end up getting my Marriott points, which I have to check still, like I said, I still got 5 times on my Amex.
right,
And then I got all those perks, and that just made more sense. Then there's certain hotel brands, kind of, I'll throw Hilton under the bus here, where I'm more apt to look at something like Fine Hotels and Resorts or whatnot, if I can't get an employee rate, because like Hilton points, I think are some of the worst to earn when it comes to
sure,
redemption. And that's not where I want to stick my points.
Yeah, I agree.
I want them to be where they're most useful. And in this case, even compared to Marriott, like having 5 times Amex points, I can do a lot more with that.
Right. And also, if you have a travel advisor that stays on top of things, when I book someone through Amex Fine Hotel and Resorts or through another program and they're eligible for free upgrades, I actually call about a week ahead of time. Say, hey, I have some clients coming, just checking to see how that room upgrade is looking. And I've had hotels just push it through right then.
Oh yeah, if they have the availability, that's an easy push. Just
They'll just push it through. So, and then I can let my clients know, hey, guess what? Thank you for using me. You're now going from this room to this room, no additional charge. Thank you for using me.
see,
So
it
I would
doesn't
hit
hurt
this.
to ask. That's the question at the end of the day. You don't get what
Right.
you don't ask for.
Right. So the answer, should you use a travel agent for a hotel? I would say budget. Your entry level. Yeah, the answer, I mean, yes, of course you can, but there's probably not going to be a lot of extra savings, amenities. Your premium, and especially luxury, we have access to lower rates and or additional amenities, and or ways to bundle it with something else if you would rather earn American miles or Delta miles.
And coming from the hotel front desk side of things, travel agent bookings, like actual travel agents, like somebody like Jason calling, checking in, or relieving notes, are less likely to get bumped in oversell situations.
Oh,
I will
interesting.
tell you, I've talked about this on TikTok before in a video. If I run
Interesting.
into an oversell situation, say, pipe burst, I went down 5 rooms, so now I'm oversold by 5. The first people I'm walking are Expedia, Hotels.com.
So it's funny you say that. A little inside baseball are the cruise planner contract with some of these hotels through the larger network. It's some of the premium luxury property. The contract says you cannot walk our guest. So
Mhm.
yeah, excellent point. I forgot about that. Excellent point.
And then I know that we've been beating this, but I also realized, Jason, we didn't talk about our winner from Today in Travel
Oh
Cruise.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, I don't think he's on here, but yes, the bracket, James Mills. I'll let him know. I know he's busy with work. He was texting me earlier, so congratulations, James.
So if you guys want to win contests and whatnot, and you are new here, please go to todayintravel.live. That is our Facebook group. We have over 500 members so far, actually over 600 now.
Fantastic.
Would love to have you be a part of that. It's a great group where you can ask questions, share some of your favorites, and we would love to see you there. I do have a call coming up, so I got to start rocking and rolling
Absolutely.
here,
All right,
Jason.
Haley, thank you so much. Sorry we went a little long today, but we wanted to talk about MSC. A lot of news stuff going on. We'll see you here next week.
All right, bye, guys.
Bye, guys.